friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today is the first day of March and I am so excited to start planning and budgeting for March, but before I can do that, I have to wrap up February. So we are going to look at the budget that I wrote for the final paycheck in February. We're going to take a look at what I budgeted, what I spent. We're going to take a look into my cash envelopes and see what, if anything, I have left over to pay towards debt. This is my budget result for February, week 4. Let's get into it. Alright friends, so I have here in front of me my paycheck bill tracker for the paycheck my husband received on February 23rd, as well as the paycheck I received from YouTube. If you missed this budget, you're going to want to go back and check it out. You can kind of hear my thought process as I was writing out numbers and deciding what we were going to budget. So definitely check that video out if you missed it, but for now, we're just going to be going down each category, taking a look at what I budgeted and what I spent. We're going to see if I'm over budget or under budget. I'm excited about this. So we're going to start out under this bills category, and you know, if you've seen my videos before, that the way that I budget is I put anything that's going to be paid with my checking account under this bills category. So these are all the bills that I was going to tackle this week, as well as my groceries. I use the Walmart grocery pickup service to get my groceries. It really helps me to stick with a meal plan and a budget. There's less impulse shopping. I highly recommend the Walmart grocery pickup if you've never tried it. I do have a link in my description box where you can sign up and you will get $10 off your first order of $50 or more. I believe that is for the Walmart pickup as well as their delivery service. Unfortunately, my Walmart does not deliver to my house. Makes me so sad. I would love to take advantage of that sometimes, especially when there's a ton of snow in the ground or I'm super busy. But if your Walmart does delivery, I believe this link will take $10 off your order that way as well. Anyways, I budgeted $150 for groceries this week. Now, I can tell you that we spent more than this $150. However, we got our tax refund this week. I'm so excited about it. I did not film a set, tax refund budget. I should have, but I didn't. Instead, I just kind of did that on my own and figured out what we were going to do with that money. And what I did was I paid the extra that we had spent on groceries this week. So even though we spent more than $150, only $150 came out of this week's budget. I hope that that makes sense. So I like to keep track of my transactions here in my monthly planner from Erin Condren. I use decorative stickers up top to make it look pretty, and then I use stickers that I made myself to track the transactions. I have a whole color coding system set up, and so anytime that I spend money, depending on the category, I use that color sticker and I put it in the calendar. So you can see here that my groceries are all entered in this light pink color, and we're looking at this final week here. You can see I spent $150 exactly. So I just took the $150 out of this budget and the rest came out of my tax refund. So we are under budget, even though I spent more in groceries than that. Is that confusing? I hope not. So if I am under budget, I'm going to use the same pretty pink color that I wrote my budget in. If I am over budget, I'm gonna write it in purple. I'm a very visual person, so I like to be able to glance at this sheet overall and see where I was under budget, where I was over budget. So writing in a different color, if I'm over budget, really helps me to kind of zone in on my overspending. Hope that makes sense. So for groceries, we are under budget, right on budget actually, and that feels great. So next up, we have Walmart. This is a minimum payment on my Walmart credit card. We are using the debt snowball method to try to pay our credit card debt. And so what we do is we pay all of our minimum payments on all of our cards that currently carry a balance. And then we pay a ton of extra money, any extra money that we have, to just one card. And we kind of tackle it one at a time. Card we're currently working on is a Discover card. So that we'll talk about when we get to this extra debt category. But this Walmart card is just the minimum payment on the card. I budgeted $135 towards that card. And if we look again here at my color coding, bills are in this blue color. I use the blue color to mark the minimum payments that are due on my cards, as well as any other bills that are due. Extra debt payments are put in this gray color. So this isn't an extra debt payment. This is just the minimum payment. So it's in blue. And we can see here that for Walmart, the minimum payment actually came in at $125. So less than expected, which is always a good thing. And so I paid $125 towards that card, which is great. We're going to be coming in under budget in that category. So I'm just going to mark that off as well. Next up is Lowe's. Similarly, this is a minimum payment. I budgeted $95, and this came in less than I expected as well, which is awesome. So to Lowe's, we paid $85, which was the minimum payment due, and so that is great. It came in under budget as well. I'm just realizing that I think that this pink pen that I'm writing in is a different pink pen than what I originally wrote in, but that's okay, they're close enough. Okay, next we have March's lot rent. So even though this is a February budget, this income came in February, but we used it to go towards the first few bills in March. We budget paycheck to paycheck, not necessarily by month. So our first paycheck in March doesn't happen until the 2nd. So I paid all of the bills that were due before that paycheck comes in, if that makes sense. I'm also known to pay bills ahead of time, try to get ahead, so this is nothing new for me. So our March lot rent is $510. If you're not familiar with my situation, we own our home. It's a mobile home. We paid the mortgage off last spring, which was a huge win for us, but we don't own the land. We rent the land. We are in a mobile home community, so we are still paying rent, which is not ideal. It's not the situation that we hope to be in long term forever, but you know, it is what it is for now. We're not quite ready to make a big move or anything. We're working on paying off our debt before we worry about that. So for now, we pay $510 in lot rent, and it just is what it is. So you can see here, lot rent was $510 as expected. Next up is our water bill, which we pay in conjunction with our lot rent. I typically budget $50 for that, and that is what I have done here as well. And that water bill actually came in at $48.09, so we are under budget there as well. Feels so good to see all of these pink numbers. As much as I love purple, it's my favorite color, I do not want to have to use this pen this week. It is always my hope that I am not over budget. Okay, cable is next. This is our cable TV and cable internet. We were offered a plan through our mobile home community that allowed us to get cable TV and high-speed internet for less than we were paying for internet alone, which is amazing. So I budget $65, and that actually came in at $62.44. And lastly, we have Audible. That's my husband's audiobook subscription. He drives so much for work. He works in the plumbing industry as a sewer and drain cleaner, and he's constantly running service calls, so he's driving all over Southeast Michigan to provide service for that, and so he really likes to listen to audiobooks. So that's why we have Audible. It's not something we're willing to negotiate on. He needs this. So we budgeted $15, and that comes out at $14.95. So we are going to be significantly under budget for this bills category, which is amazing. So I'm gonna pull in my calculator, which I just use the calculator on my phone. So we have it here. I apologize for the reflection of my ring light that you might see, and we're just gonna add these numbers up. So we have 150 plus 125 plus 85 plus 510 plus 4809 plus 6244 plus 1495 is $995.48. So we budgeted $1,020, and if we subtract that $995.48 that we actually spent, we are going to have $24.52 left over in this category. And you guys know, anytime I have leftover money in this category, it goes straight to an extra debt payment. So I am so excited to be able to put that extra almost $25 towards debt. You guys, spoiler alert, we are going to be paying off Discover this week. I am so excited. Between the money we got for our tax refund and this money that's left over here, it's going to be paid off. I'm going to make that payment today. You know, if you watched my February goals video, that one of my goals, not February, I'm looking at February, sorry. My March goals video, one of my goals was to pay off Discover in March. Today's the first day of March, and we are already going to be able to check that goal off the list. It happened sooner than I expected, and I'm so thrilled. All right, so did really well in this bills category. Let's start talking about cash envelopes. So at the start of every week, I pull out cash that I expect that we will spend throughout the week. These are all of our expenses that happen on a weekly basis. These are typically variable expenses, so we don't necessarily spend the same amount every week, but inevitably we spend money in these categories every single week. So this is the money that I put into my cash envelopes in order to get us through the week. Let's talk about it. My husband's spending money, I actually pull out $40 at the start of every week. I give that to him. He does whatever he wants with it. I never see it again. So this is always as budgeted. I gave him $40. If he had any money left over, he will just roll it over into the next week. I don't ask him to see receipts. I don't need to know what he spent his money on. That's the beauty of this system. He gets his $40 a week to do whatever he pleases with, and that really helps us to stay on budget and not get burnout to have this spending money every week. Likewise, I get $40. Now, I do track my spending just because I'm that type of person. I keep track of my spending in this purple color here. I mentioned purple is my favorite color. You can see here during this week, I pulled that full $40 out of my envelope and I put it toward my Nintendo Switch. I have been saving for a Nintendo Switch for the last month or so. I was able to go and get that over the weekend. I'm so excited. Again, thanks to some of my tax refund money, I was able to meet that goal. I purchased the Nintendo Switch as well as a game, and I'm thrilled with that purchase. So I did take my $40 spending money to put towards this, as well as the money that I had in my savings envelope for my Switch, and just added the rest that I needed from both a credit card reward that we received and my tax refund. So I have my Switch now. I'm so excited. I'm loving it. So we did spend the full $40 there. Next up, we have gasoline. I budgeted $40 for gas at the start of the week. I track my gas transactions in this light purple color, and as you can see, for this week we had just one transaction, and it actually wasn't for gas at all. We didn't need gas, but we did take money out of that envelope for a car wash. We paid for the car wash and we tipped the gentleman that did the car wash, so it was a total of $12 spent. And I always like to go into my cash envelopes and just show you guys what I have left versus what I started with. So really quickly, I'll show you. My spending money should be empty, and it definitely is. I took that $40. I'm going to deposit it in the bank to cover that portion of that switch. For gasoline, I started with $40, spent $12, so there should be $28 left in my gas envelope. This, by the way, is my Conscious wallet, which I absolutely love, and the envelopes come from Life in Envelopes on Etsy, so I have those resources linked down below if you're interested in them. But here we have the cash that is left over in my gas fund. So we have 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. That is exactly what we should have. So I'm going to be taking this leftover cash from my gas envelope, and I'm going to be putting it into my gasoline sinking fund. I have a sinking fund in my accordion folder where I put any money that we have left over from gas, just so that we can build up a little bit of a reserve for extra gas money should we need it. Gas is a need, not a want, and so I always want to make sure that I have enough money to cover my gas. So in addition to the $40 that I budget every single week for gas money, I also have a sinking fund where I put anything that's kind of left over so that we're covered no matter what. I did not bring my accordion folder out here for the filming of this video, so I'm not going to put this in there right now. I'm just going to kind of set this off to the side, and I will add it off camera, but just know that this $28 is going to go into my gas sinking fund. All right, so next up we have eating out. We've reached the end of February. It was my goal to not eat out at all in February, and to be able to take this $25 a week that I was budgeting for eating out and to be able to put that towards extra debt. You guys, we did eat out this week. I'm not gonna lie. When we got our tax refund, we ordered a pizza. We used that tax refund money for that pizza, but in terms of this budget, we did not use any of this eating out money. There are no yellow stickers on my transaction log, which is the color that we track our eating out in. You can see the entirety of February. There are no yellow stickers. We did really, really well with this goal. We ate out one time, like I said, but considering the fact that we were eating out prior to this every week, sometimes twice a week, that is a huge win. I am going to be moving forward into March, attempting a no eating out challenge again. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know that we will continue it in April for sure, because it's tough. Sometimes it's just easier to take the convenience and go through a drive-thru and pick something up, but we are going to continue trying to not eat out in March, and February we did a great job. We did eat out that one time, but all 100 of these dollars that I budgeted towards eating out for February went towards extra debt, which is amazing. So we spent 0 of these eating out dollars. As you can see here in my wallet, my eating out envelope still has that $25 in it, which is exciting. I'm going to set this off to the side for now. We'll talk about what we're going to do with this extra money at the end here once we finish this up. The last category here is miscellaneous, and for miscellaneous I budgeted $25. My miscellaneous spending is tracked in this green color, and as you can see here, we did have a transaction this week. I had to go to the post office and pick up stamps, which I did not budget for, and so I just used the miscellaneous money to cover that. That's what I love about this miscellaneous category. It's sort of a catch-all for anything else that comes up that I didn't think to budget for. So we spent $11 of our miscellaneous money, and we budgeted $25, so 25 minus 11 means there should be $14 left in my envelope. You guys can see that this deposit envelope is positively jammed full. I need to go to the bank and deposit this money. This money came from a few different sinking funds and things, as well as the cash that I pulled out of here to cover the transactions like the switch and whatnot. So Miscellaneous is what we're supposed to be talking about here. So we should have $14 left, like I said. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have $9 left. So that means that I had a transaction that I forgot to account for. Is that right? 25 minus 11 is 14, and I only have 9. So I'm not sure where that other cash went. I don't remember. Apparently I did not do a great job of tracking it. That's why I always like to go into my envelopes and count things out and make sure I have what I think I'm supposed to have, because in this case, I don't. So 25 minus 9, I should have had, that means I spent $16 total, and I only marked down that I spent 11, so there are $5 not accounted for here. Honest to goodness, I do not remember what I did with those $5, but I want to make sure that all of my tracking is accurate, so I'm going to actually really quickly just make a transaction sticker for that other $5. It's super easy to get super busy and not pay super close attention, so it is what it is. I'm not too torn up about the fact that I'm $5 short here. I just wish that I could remember what I spent that on, and I don't. So no big deal. It's only $5. And I'm just going to stick this on a random day this week just so that my transaction log matches up with what I actually spent. So that means then, like I said, we spent a total of $16. And that's what I'm going to write in here. Thank goodness for erasable pens. It's really easy just to scrub out that mistake. So you guys, if you are going through your budget and sometimes your numbers don't exactly match up, don't beat yourself up. This happens to absolutely everyone occasionally. $5 short on my budget means that $5 went somewhere that I can't account for. I could kick myself over and over again for this. Instead, I just roll with it. It's only $5. It's not that big of a deal. So now I have that $11 left that we talked about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, $9 left that we talked about. And that's going to go in the pile with the extra eating out money. I'm going to add this up really quickly and see how far under budget we were. So we have 40 plus 40 plus 12 plus 16 means we spent 108 of those $170. Means we should have $62 left. We know that 28 of those dollars is going to go into the gasoline sinking fund. So I'll take that 62 minus 28. Means we should have $34 left in this other stack. Hopefully that's right. 20, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. As anticipated, this $34 is going to go right towards extra debt. This is going to go towards this extra debt snowball payment. I'm excited about it. Typically, I would stick this in my debt snowball envelope that I have in my wallet, but you guys, we're paying off Discover today, so this is all going to go towards Discover, and I'm just going to go ahead and deposit it and make that payment so that we can start fresh in March with a new credit card. I'm excited about it. This is going to be deposited. This money is going to go into my gas sinking fund. Have I confused you yet? I've confused myself. Okay, so I'm going to stick this cash then into my deposit envelope along with all the other cash that I need to deposit. It's a lot, and we are going to talk about the extra debt payments overall in a minute. for now, we're going to talk about sinking funds. Know that these are always as budgeted. As soon as I write out my budget, I go to the bank, I get the cash, and I put all of these budgeted amounts right into an envelope. So this all went as planned. So this is super easy. And that was super sloppy. It's hard to write on this disc binding system. What I love about the disc bound system is I could easily pull this page out if I was worried about making this super nice and neat, but I'm not, so that's fine. Now we have extra debt. So what I'm going to do here, we did pay $173 towards this card as anticipated. You can see here that we had $392 that I paid. And that's because if you looked and watched my debt snowball update, we had a bunch of money in this debt snowball envelope that we took out and deposited and paid. So of the $392 that we paid, $173 of it came from this budget. We had $219 additional that we had saved throughout the month of February from our cash envelopes. So that's awesome. That means that that was, you know, perfect. We spent $392 towards that. So that's awesome. In terms of this extra debt category, this is going to be the extra that I have here, this $24.52. Whoops, I just threw my pen. So we're going to write that in here. And then we have the extra cash from this category, the extra cash that we had left over from the envelopes, that $34, also is going to be paid towards this card. And so the grand total that we will have sent in extra debt payments is $392 plus $24.52 plus $34, $450.52, which is incredible. I am so proud. This plus the little bit of extra that we pulled from our tax refund completely pays off Discover. That is done and dusted, and we can move on with the Amazon card next. So that's awesome. Lastly, I have my extra savings, which was as anticipated as well, for a total of $57. You guys, we have a completely pink page. We did not go over budget in a single category. We were significantly under budget, which meant we were able to pay a huge amount in extra debt this week. This was overall a winner of a week. I'm so happy with how this went. So happy to say that the Amazon card, I'm coming for it. Discover's paid off. Everything's good to go. Feels wonderful. So that is it for my results for this last week in February. Let's hope that March is as great as February was in terms of budgeting wins. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know how your February went overall, what your budget wins were for this week. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. I'd love to have you come back, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, friends.